Live chat off the bat. Hello, VOD viewer. If you're watching this from the VOD, use the timestamps that I have hopefully put in the description to navigate to the section you want. Or the section that is interesting, as opposed to, wait, I need to tweet about this. You know what I mean? I like anime. And I did undo retweet. Wait, I like anime and manga. I like Japan, period. I'm okay. I'm okay. We're using live chat. I hope you are proud of me. Is this what you wanted? Is this all you wanted? Whoa, live. What are we guys talking about? Oh yeah. Hold on. We need some sort of visual stimulation on stream. Screen? Screen? You get the idea. Do I have a relevant image? I have Updog. I have Updog. This one's fine. Hold on, where to go? There. We're just gonna have spinning Irudu in the corner. Every time I look at that GIF, I can't like, you know that meme of like images you can hear. Every time I look at that, I just hear like a microwave sound. Irudu slowly rotating in the microwave. See, this is why I said at the beginning for the VOD viewers to use the timestamps. I definitely will get distracted. Don't worry about it. And then she stops and it goes. I'm okay. How's it going, everybody? We are on live chat. Good news for everyone involved. Do I have water? I have water. So this will be different. Because before now, I've just been, I've been putting, doing things that I think are kind of pointless, because I like putting in effort, I like making things look nice, but, I'm gonna sneeze. I think that was heard slightly. Distract Fireboy while he's reading. That's a very... Oh my gosh. That's a very real possibility. Hi, Yish. I'm dying. Okay. By the way, okay, so anyway, side note, is this text readable? I'll be reading it, but but you should be able to read. Ideally, would you be able to read along, because there are definitely going to be mistakes. Okay, so previously have done this. I've been writing about anime for like 10 years. I don't know. Actually, I don't know, because I remember I started the top 10 anime of the decade like back in 2010, but I don't think the first couple were written. I think I wrote notes, but I never actually wrote it. I think until 2013. So yeah, let's just like 2012 or 2013. So I like writing about anime, and up until now, I've been writing about it, and then putting it in like a video thingy mabobber. I've been doing a recording and edited voiceover of it, then like editing out all the mistakes, and then putting like footage over it, which is like standard in the anime YouTubing scene. But I don't like doing that, and I don't think I don't know. I just didn't like doing it, and I think because of that, kind of like showed in the video by it not being like very good. Like it was fine, it was serviceable, but it wasn't like it being a video didn't really super add anything other than it being very easy for people to watch. So we're gonna try something else where we just casually read through it. I'll make mistakes. It'll be fine. I'm really bad at reading. Everybody knows this. But we'll try. So I do want to do more writing in the future, and a reason that I haven't done this in a while is because, as much as I like writing, I don't like putting it into a video. So if I can make that process easier, I theoretically more writing would happen. It do be readable, nice. So anyway, that's the theory going into this. Is there any way for me to like mirror this so she can spin the other way? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Nope, that's the wrong way. I just want to know if I just hit flip horizontal. There she goes. The other way now. You know, I think it's funny when she was upside down. Okay, so anyway, that's the theory anyway. But we'll see how this goes. I'm willing to try new things. We're willing to try different things. So we're just gonna try to read it and hope for the best. If there are mistakes, whatever, it'll be on screen so you can see what I'm trying to read, and it'll also be up on the blog later. So okay, I thought I fixed my microphone, and I theoretically did, so it sounds less like I'm slurring my words, but I think I just naturally somewhat slur my words. I try to be better about that, but don't worry about it. Add a red dot over the words while you're reading. What I do normally is I just highlight the words that I'm reading, but that's not really like that's just what I do, like regardless. Because I have like a reading disability or something. I don't know. It just makes it easier to read. We're just gonna do that. We're just gonna highlight as I read, as I do normally. And I know you're asking yourself, how do you do that in real life? Good question. Add a bullet hole effect after you read each word. See, now you guys got the good ideas. That's crazy. I'm putting I'm making notes. I'm making notes. If this works out in the future, we could have like them show up on screen like subtitles. Could you do that? You could theoretically do that. You could theoretically do that. I'm sure there's like I think there is something like some text to speech to add like subtitles to like streams. Or am I crazy? And then people put that for translation so you can have some bad Google translations during streams. Anyway, I don't want this to be like a super long stream, and we've already hit the 7-minute mark of just rambling. Because ideally, I don't want this to be like super duper. I want it to be like a stream, and like we go read through the thing and discuss it. Um, so it's like a discussion slash blog thing. But I also don't want it to be too long because I want it to be easy for the VOD watchers. We care. We love you, VOD watchers. We love lurkers. We love VOD watchers. Everybody is a important integral part to the community or whatever. There was a recent Twitter post that said lurkers are bad, but I'm like, what are you talking about? How are people watching and enjoying bad? Okay, lurkers be like. Okay, so we're actually gonna start talking about this. Okay, so here's the background of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. In case you don't know what a Dragon Maid is, there will be spoilers for season 1 and 2, but yeah, I will explain in case you don't know. It's a show. Okay, so anyway, this is why I just gotta get to the reading part because I feel like if I have something to read, then we have some sort of structure to my madness. But just background for the show. Turned against lurkers, Twitch keeps rewarding a large amount of chat interaction. Maybe that's the goal. That's still dumb though. I remember Twitch added the ability to add in whatever tags you want, and people were using it for meme purposes, and then getting banned for it because it's too lewd. I'm like, guys, it's you guys don't know how to have fun over there. Okay, sorry. Focusing. Okay, Maid Dragon. Context behind this post. Maid Dragon was an anime. It came out in 2017? 2018? No, I want to say 2017. I have no idea. blah blah blah. You don't need a whole background, but anyway, basically, the anime came out and it was super great. It was made by Kyoto Animation. Kyoto Animation makes great anime. But then like sometime after it came out, it started getting like a lot of flack online for like I go into this during, you can see like in the first sentence I talk about it. But yeah, basically there's a lot of people saying a lot of slanderous things about the show, and as a fan from the show from like its original anime back like 5 years ago at this point. Oh no. Um yeah, as a longtime fan of the show, it was very like, I appreciate that people. I understand that people have like different views of things, but like when people are straight up wrong, then I'm like, okay, buddy. So that's my whole goal for this again, which I make clear in the actual thing. So maybe I should just actually read the thing. I didn't change the title of this thing because I think the stream title is named something slightly different. Yeah, because I couldn't start the stream and it just said invalid start date and time, and I didn't understand why, and it turned out the title was too long, because that's what that means. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll explain more in the thing, but basically, this was made out of me wanting to set the record straight. Also, I need to stop talking so quickly. Okay, we're good. Anyway, so let's go and read. I can't do it. I'm too nervous. See, this is another reason why I can't do. This is what actually happens when I go to do voiceovers. I just procrastinate, do it actually starting it. But once I start it, it's fine. Don't worry about it, okay? So we're just gonna actually start it. Okay. I can't read. Why can I read? But why can I write? But I can't read. He's faltering. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We just need to start it. Okay. Hold on. Do I got? Okay. Distract him. Okay, we're not being distracted. We're not being distracted. Okay, that's a decent enough motivation. Okay, we're actually starting. This is where the time link is gonna go. Understanding and overcoming differences in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. This post mostly looks at the first 2 seasons of the anime. Also, spoilers for that. I will probably get distracted a lot through this to just add some more context, but the anime is very different from the manga. Not like so different that they're like two separate shows, but the anime like moves things around a lot and like adds in things from like spin-off manga and stuff. Like there's a Kana spin-off that the anime sometimes pulls from. Um so for the purposes of like trying to figure out a cohesive narrative, this is mostly just looking at the anime, because if you try to put in everything, it's way too complicated. Capiche? Cool. Okay. The funny thing about the online reputation that Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid has is how it perfectly mirrors the themes of the actual show. The show itself is about the relationship between normal humans and dragons from a different world. At the start, humans and dragons in the world of Maid Dragon have some sort of perceived notions about the other side. The dragons distrust the humans because in their world they're at war with them, while humans on the other hand are fearful of the dragons because they are an unknown entity. I switch between like Dragon World and Human World, but like there's humans in the Dragon World. Don't worry about it. However, in this world, there do exist both humans and dragons who are willing to approach this cross-species relationship with an open mind. This allows them to overcome this barrier between them and create a peaceful relationship. Likewise, there is a similar dynamic happening regarding how the show itself is viewed. Due to the popularity of this series, it has leaked outside of its intended audience to people who have misguided notions regarding the type of show it is. Because of this, they hate the show and accuse it of being something it's not. On the other side, there are people who went into the show with a more open mind about it and came to love it. As one of the people who loves the show, I think that the best way to approach it is the same way the characters in the show approach each other, with the mindset of setting aside preconceptions and having a willingness to understand more. Because of this, I think it would be very helpful for everyone if we took some time to talk about the show and figure out what it's trying to say and what makes it so special. While I don't expect everyone who hates the show to completely change their mind about it, I do hope to clear up some misconceptions and get closer to figuring out exactly what it's about. Yeah, I do think that's really funny because, like, yeah, the show is about, like, basically the whole thesis of this blog post is like the show is about trying to know each other better and not hate each other based off of preconceived notions, and people hate the show because of preconceived notions. So again, not expecting everyone who hates it to suddenly like it, but let's just get things straight so we're not spouting falsehoods. Also, is my cursor dragging acceptable? It's not as good as Yish's red dot or Biffy's bullet, but you get the idea. Okay, I'm not gonna try to ramble too much during the reading because that's like the part I want people to watch. So, whatever, you get the idea. I'm just listening. Don't mind me. Okay, sick. Listen now. Talk later. Don't worry about it. As I said before, the base relationship between. Wait, this is where we were, right? Yeah, okay. As I said before, the base relationship between dragons and humans in the universe of Maid Dragon is one of animosity. Animosity? Animosity. In the world the dragons are from, their species are singular species. Let's try that one more time. As I said before, the base relationship between dragons and humans in the universe of Maid Dragon is one of animosity. In the world the dragons are from, their species is at war with humans, so in an attempt to keep them safe, the dragons are taught from a young age to be fearful of humans. Because of this, by the time the dragons arrive in the real world, the dragons assume the worst of humans. Because of this, by the time the dragons arrive in the real world, the dragons assume the worst of humans. This is the mindset that Toru, the dragon, arrives into the real world in. This is the mindset that Toru, the dragon, arrives into the real world in, but even worse because she has been wounded by the humans in her world. However, she has the wondrous luck of running into Kobayashi, which makes what makes Kobayashi the perfect person to run into here is that she is one of the more open-minded humans and is willing to help the stranger she has just run into. After helping Toru, Kobayashi has a chat with her in hopes of getting to know her better. While Toru is still timid about interacting with a human, Kobayashi's openness and kindness breaks a lot of the ideas about humans she had. Because of this, the two are able to have a friendly conversation. Seeing this human completely blow past all the preconceptions that Toru had, she immediately takes a liking to Kobayashi and becomes willing to learn more about her and her world. This theme of pushing past false prejudices against humans is made even more obvious in the second season with the introduction of the dragon Irudu. Irudu naturally liked humans as a child, and she was taught again, but until she was Irudu naturally liked humans as a child until she was taught against doing so. However, Kobayashi helps Irudu question her upbringing and rediscover her love for humanity. So yeah, I go on to this more later, but Kobayashi was kind of drunk during this original meeting, and I tried to work that in somehow, but it's kind of irrelevant. The only thing that being like drunk during it wasn't that Kobayashi would do something drunk that she wouldn't do otherwise. It's that being drunk kind of brought out her slightly more true, more or less inhibition side of her, which is why she which is why she helped Toru. But like the core reason that Kobayashi was willing to help Toru in the first place is because Kobayashi is kind of like more open-minded, as we talk about later. It is weird how much this feels like I'm just recording a audio thing that I have to edit through later, and you can see why it takes so long to edit. But hey, as long as it's listenable. Okay. And also, yeah, the Irudu thing is kind of like a thing tacked on at the end, but like it just made the thing about Irudu, it just makes this whole idea of what happened between Toru and Kobayashi more apparent because it's kind of like scattered throughout like the first season and a little bit of the second season. This whole like scene that happened. Anyway, let me catch my breath here for a second. Okay. If learning that not all humans are evil, as far as Maid Dragon went with its themes, it would already be pretty cool. But what makes this show truly special is how far and in how many different directions it takes its central theme of understanding. For example, Kobayashi and her role in the story. What makes Kobayashi the perfect protagonist of a show like this is that she encapsulates everything that is understanding about humanity. While she grew up living a completely normal life and understanding everything that makes the world tick, she is a bit critical with how many parts of it work. This puts her in a perfect position to act as a mediator between dragons and humans and help bridge the two species' gap of understanding. This I should have explained this a little bit more, but like, yeah, Kobayashi understands and knows how the world works entirely, but she doesn't necessarily like agree with it. Like she has made peace with how the world works, but doesn't necessarily like agree with how all of it does indeed work. I'll explain a little bit more later. Don't worry about it. Anyway, where were we? Help bridge the two species gap of understanding. Because of this, she quickly becomes the person that all kinds of dragons approach to ask questions about humanity. For example, in episode 4, Toru asks why humans dress so similar. Kobayashi responds simply by stating that humans don't like things that are different from them. Toru reacts strongly by saying such thoughts are foolish. While Kobayashi agrees with this, she explains that this dislike of what is different is based on a fear of things people don't understand. It's tiny conversations like these that really show off what the show is all about. In addition to Kobayashi answering questions about the human world and helping the dragons bridge this knowledge gap, the way Kobayashi answers this also helps bridge an emotional and personal gap too. Kobayashi, a human, agrees and sympathizes with Toru, a dragon, showing that the two species aren't as different as they appear to be. But she goes even further by explaining why these differences exist and how they help everyone get along. By having conversations like this, it shows that despite differences between people, it is still possible to understand and get along with them. All of this is central to the show's theme of pushing past preconceptions to better understand and get along with each other. So this is what I was kind of talking about. So they're like, oh, why do humans dress so similarly to each other? That's more like relevant about like Japan society in particular, but you get the idea. But like, it's not out of idea of like, oh, they don't like things that are different from them. Toru's like, yeah, that's bad, that's dumb. And Kobayashi's like, yeah, but there's a reason behind it. It is kind of dumb, but there's a reason behind it. Is because it's based off of fear of things that people don't understand. So I like that scene. It's quite good. It's a very good scene early on of showing exactly like what the show is trying to do. This also came from a rewatch, because when I watched the first season back when it came out, like I liked it a lot, but like it wasn't until like the rewatching of when season 2 came out, I rewatched season 1, and I kind of like picked up on a lot more of what it was doing. Again, I don't want to say like I have the absolute correct read of the show. Like this is just my like most of what these things aren't necessarily like clearly stated. It's just like it's what I'm reading out of the show. So I'm definitely willing to admit that I'm wrong myself in all of this. But this is just saying this is my reading of the show. Also, you guys said you would distract me while I was reading, but the fact that you actually have not done that is even more distracting. What the hell is wrong with you guys? I'm like, did my stream die? Why is no one typing? But no, I'm chilling. Okay, yeah. After we finish reading, we will go into discussion. Da-da-da. I also noticed that when I did a premiere of the top 100 anime. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But people enjoyed it, but were not very talkative during the reading of it or during the premiere. You get the idea. I'm dying. Okay. Distracted by my art. Sorry, don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. Central shows central thing about pushing past preconceptions to better understand and get along with each other. Okay. Another way that Maid Dragon explores its central theme of understanding and pushing past assumptions is all the different examples of preconceived notions that people have for each other, beyond the human and dragon relationships. For example, the characters of Fafnir and Takia who on the surface appear to be the stereotypical antisocial otaku. Wait, I read that in the wrong tone. For example, the characters of Fafnir and Takia, who on the surface appear to be the stereotypical antisocial otaku. However, we learn that Takia is actually a pretty normal guy and actually helped the dragon Fafnir become more sociable by turning him into an otaku. Before coming to the human world, Fafnir would stay inside his cave to protect his treasure and didn't trust anyone, humans and other dragons included. But this changed after coming to the human world and having Takia introduce him to otaku culture. Growing to love games, anime, and manga, Fafnir was able to make his first true friend in Takia by bonding through. Was able to make his first true friend in Takia by bonding through their shared interests. In addition, after learning that not all humans are bad, he was willing to meet others via things like online games and otaku-themed meetups. Through these experiences, he was also willing to become more friendly with his fellow dragons. So even if they look like antisocial nerds on the surface, it's actually because of their differences that they are able to find joy in life and meet people. I as a fellow otaku myself, I particularly enjoy that storyline of like literally like Fafnir before becoming an otaku was the stereotype of the otaku of like hiding in his cave, protecting his treasure, never leaving. But it's like, oh, that's what people think otaku are, but in actuality, like there's lots of things that happen and things that go along and meetups. Also, I just realizing that a Comic Head is happening like this weekend while I'm talking about Maid Dragon, and Comic Head also happened in Maid Dragon. Unrelated note, sorry, focusing. But yeah, I quite like that. There's a I go on for a couple more examples like that. So yeah, let's just keep moving on. I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember if I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry. I was gonna talk about like there's a lot of different examples of characters being like seeming to be stereotypes on the surface, but there being more to them under the surface that I couldn't possibly talk about all of them. So I won't. I just picked the most important ones. Okay. Right. Okay. Find joy, meet people. The characters themselves. Okay. Just dying a little bit. Don't worry. I am quite enjoying this. It's less stressful knowing that I don't have to say every single thing perfectly and edit everything perfectly. Anyway, the characters themselves in the show also go through arcs of learning not to judge people by appearances. The best example of this is being Taketo. Taketo runs a local candy store with his grandmother and cares a lot about the family-friendly culture of the store. So, when Irudu suddenly comes to work there, he panics because she looks and appears to behave very scandalously, thus jeopardizing the culture of the candy shop. However, at this point in the story, the dragon Irudu has gone through an arc of her own and has come to love humans and the time that she spends with them. In fact, that is the reason she chooses to work at the in fact, that is the reason she chooses to work at the candy shop in the first place, so she can work in an environment where she and humans can have fun. Despite her appearance, her ideals line up perfectly with what Taketo wants out of the shop. After Taketo gave Irudu a fair chance and saw how she worked in the candy shop, he was able to see firsthand that Irudu is the perfect person for preserving the family-friendly culture of the shop, and that her appearance was not an issue. In all of this, Taketo learned one of his in all of this, Taketo learned one of the themes of the show and was not only able to learn who Irudu actually is, but respect her as well. I feel like that could have been a little bit better. Um, but I tried to write around words like big boobies. But like, if you look at Irudu, like the reason that Takedo was that art doesn't show it well, but yeah, she got big boobies. So Takedo was like, "Oh no, my family-friendly culture of the shop." But like, A, that ended up not being a big factor, and B, Irudu was like the perfect person to preserve the family-friendly culture of the shop because she enjoys letting humans have fun. You know, so I think that's cool. Okay. not every character arc goes as Not every character arc goes as smoothly because just like in real life, things like assumption and hold on, one more time. We're gonna start this from the top after I get some water. My throat is dying. I don't know how talking versus reading hurts my throat more, but it does. Okay. Not every character arc goes as smoothly because, just like in real life, things like assumptions and preconceptions can be very complicated. For example, Kana's feelings about herself and the people around her. At the start of the story, Kana is an immature and mischievous dragon. Because of this, she was actually kicked out of the dragon world due to a prank she pulled. After coming to the human world, she meets Kobayashi, who, as she does with most dragons, is able to break her preconceptions of humans and get her to open up a bit. However, even after this, despite having an interest in making friends with humans, However, even after this, despite having an interest in making friends with humans, Kana still seems Despite having an interest in making friends with humans, Kana still seems to be unsure if humans even want to be friends with her. Now, this is one of the more unclear plot points of the show, so humor me as I get a little more speculative. This is what I was talking about not directly stated in the show, but can be inferred debatably. During her first day at human school, she runs into Saikawa, who is initially aggressive towards her. In response to this, Kana bursts into tears, causing Saikawa to back down and apologize. However, it is stated that Kana actually faked crying to resolve this conflict. Moving forward in their relationship, Kana continues to play up her cute and fragile side to get Saikawa to like her more. So, while this is manipulative on Kana's part, I don't believe it's inherently evil. The reason she is doing this is most likely due to an insecurity that humans and dragons can't naturally get along and live together. A thought that is due to her war-torn world she is from. In addition, in season 2, it is revealed that Kana has abandonment issues due to her parents neglecting her to fight in the war, and that her pranks were an attempt to get their attention. So, in addition to not trusting humans, she might also believe that she herself is not likable, thus why she is being manipulative in her relationships. Despite all of this, as the series progresses, Kana and Saikawa begin to grow more comfortable with each other. Kana even starts to show bits of her true colors to Saikawa. In doing this, they start to understand each other better and appreciate their differences. It is through this that Kana grows as a character and she starts to develop a real friendship with Saikawa. So even if the show is not there at the moment, I can easily see at some point in the future Kana maturing and realizing her mistakes. This could even end with her apologizing to Saikawa and starting the relation for this could even end with her apologizing to Saikawa for starting the relationship the way she did. Even if these preconceptions are about other people or about oneself, the series shows that it is possible to push through with that with opening up and being willing to understand yourself and others. So again, this is one of the more unclear plot points of the show, so there might be debate about this. But the part about her faking her tears to befriend Saikawa was just stated. But everything else, it's just kind of kept ambiguous of how much Kana is aware of Saikawa's feelings toward her and how Kana's like playing into this or not. But especially after season 2 and seeing all these like abandonment issues that Kana has, I think that's kind of where they were going with the character. So we'll see. But again, the series isn't done yet, but you can kind of like predict character. Um, you can see where the characters are and kind of see where they are heading to. You know, I just find it kind of interesting because for all the criticism of this show, nobody really points out that of how manipulative and evil Kana is. I guess she gets a pass because she's a childish baby, even by dragon terms. Funny. Anyway, hey, look, we got to this part. The last example I want to give here is perhaps the most complicated and misunderstood of the series, Lukua and Shota. Okay. Their arc is similar to Kana's arc in the fact that the people involved don't understand themselves or the people around them, but it's even worse because both Lukua and Shota have preconceived notions of each other specifically, and these notions cause even further misunderstandings. didn't word that correctly, but I don't know if I worded that like clearly enough, but basically like their preconceived notions of themselves are causing even further misunderstandings. I explain later. In the story, in the story, dragons are depicted as socially oblivious when it comes to interacting with humans, and this is amplified even more when it comes to Lukua, who, even in the dragon world, is viewed as socially inept. Because of this, when she comes to the human world and wants to befriend one of its residents, like Toru did, she accidentally ends up doing it in the most difficult way possible. Lukua, I'm running out of steam. Don't worry about it. That's fine. It's just a complicated subject. I want to read it with the make sure I'm not effing up reading it. Lukua introduces herself to a young mage boy named Shota, who mistakes her as an evil demon. Did I spell demon right? To Luku, to Lukua's credit, she does recognize this misunderstanding and try to clear it up, but she does so by trying to be overly friendly and intimate with Shota. Shota misinterprets this as Shota misinterprets this affection as manipulation to get him to drop his guard, so he avoids it. This in turn causes Lukua to misinterpret this as her needing to get closer and more intimate towards Shota. So, in addition to these two people being fundamentally different, their misunderstandings of each other cause these differences between them to go even greater. Man is going full report mode. It's a very complicated part of the show, but basically, yeah, Shota thinks that Luca is a demon, so Luca is like, "Oh, I'm not a demon. Look how friendly and I'm being." And but Shota views this as being like evil and manipulative. Being very careful of my wording here. So that's why I was saying that's what I was saying earlier about how these two misunderstandings cause the misunderstandings to grow even more. Because as Luca becomes even more friendly with Shota, he thinks that it's just more manipulation. So yeah. Anyway, however, they are very lucky to live in a show full of characters who understand the merit of deepening understanding and overcoming differences. For example, in season 2, while Shota is trying to find a weakness of Lukua to gain an upper hand in the relationship, he turns to Kobayashi and Toru. After learning Shota's plight, they use what they learned in their relationship to advise him that force is not the best way to resolve differences. They instead advise they instead advise him that while Lukua has no physical weaknesses, she might have emotional insecurities that might explain why she acts the way she does. This allows Shota to have a conversation with Lukua where he learns that she lost her home in the past, so she lost her home in the past, so she highly values the time that she can spend with Shota and wants a sense of belonging. Because of this, she wants to create a comfortable living environment where both of them feel they belong. While this doesn't solve the whole issue altogether, it does bring Shota closer to understanding that Luca's actions aren't selfish or hurtful, but rather come from a place of friendliness and kindness, however misguided it might be. So again, Luca is kind of socially inept even when it comes to dragons, but despite the fact that her actions may be misguided, her intentions or the place that they come from is pure in a way. That's basically what I'm trying to get across here. Luca also gets help from others to better understand how her actions affect others. While helping the otaku dragon Fafnir, she reads a manga he is writing that is essentially the exact same situation that she and Shota are in, but with purely negative intentions of the characters. While this irony is lost on Lukua at the moment, it does open a door in the future for her to reflect on how her actions are perceived by others. Similar to Kana's storyline, while there's no real resolution in the show, while there's no real resolution in the show itself, it does pave the way where I can see the two eventually maturing and being able to communicate and work out their differences. All of this is to show that even people who are wildly different from each other and seem fundamentally incompatible can still reach an understanding if they have a push in the right direction. Again, with how Luca's actions are perceived by others and like kind of like this disconnect between like intention and action, I guess. Like what Luca is doing is seen as pure by her eyes, but not necessarily by other people. A little it is kind of intentionally made to be morally gray. Um but isn't that kind of the point of shows is to it's not real. Hold on, let me finish up. This is the last paragraph and I talk about that exact thing in here. But again, another issue is trying to predict story arcs. Anyway, last paragraph. While I could go on all day about how great and wholesome this show is, I have hopefully said enough up till now to explain the point of this show and where its values truly lie. Well, while there are a lot of morally gray areas in the show, I think that the beauty of anime and art in general is that it creates a safe space. It creates a safe space where we can explore these ideas without actually having to confront them in real life. That's what I was saying earlier. However, if people feel uncomfortable with any piece of art, that is valid as well. Art is meant to be enjoyed first and foremost, so if that is not happening for one reason or another, nobody is obliged to watch anything. The main reason I wrote all of this is to show that Dragon Maid has no ill intentions with its theming or messaging. It's just a wholesome show about the importance of understanding. So even if somebody can't enjoy the show, I hope they can appreciate what it's trying to do and why so many people love it so much. At the end of the day, I only want to reflect the show's values and do my best to better understand the people around me who may seem different. I also hope that everyone can learn a little something from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and we can all work together to make the world a better place. Haha, it was all part of my peace, love, and understanding arc. But yeah, I want to make that very clear that this whole post is not a attack against anyone. That would be like against the ideals of what I was whole typing about in the first place, or writing about in the first place. Um, yeah, I just want to promote people better understanding and better having a more complete understanding of what the show is about. You know, it's not like this show filled with awful characters who do bad things. It's full of this show about awful characters who do bad things and then learn that they shouldn't do bad things or that other people view things differently and they're not quite bad and it's a little blah, whatever, you get the idea. Dumb punching air. I'm joking. That joke era is over. The reason I didn't want to stream over Dom is that I wanted him here for this, but this originally started with me arguing with him about Dragon Maid, and basically we kind of resolved that argument because I basically he knows everything that's in it already. It's basically what happened. I've never seen the show. I have none thoughts. You have to have some thoughts. The way you described it on Twitter, I kind of assumed it was going to be a 20,000 word essay. I said on Twitter, didn't I not say on Twitter that it was like almost done and it was at like 2,000 words. The total word count was 2,700. So yeah, 43 minutes for 2,700 words. I will write that down. I think I could write a lot faster if it was more casual. But yeah, he had the word count. Yeah, I did have the word count on Twitter. I like it a lot. I kind of went into this with the idea that like it was gonna be like 2,000 billion words and not just 2,000 words. Period. Because I want to just talk about like everything about the show. But as I went through that, I'm like, man, there's a lot about this show that I don't think I need to say in order to get my point across. Like, there's a whole like arc with Toru and Elma and like their relationship with like humans that's really complicated. uh didn't need to go into that, but that's another thing that's specifically in season 2. I wrote like 20,000 words about Survivor last year. This shit ain't nothing. Yeah, so like, is this show a slice of life? Yes. It's like one of those shows that's like a slice of life, but you know, we learn a valuable lesson about ourselves at the end of the day, you know, that kind of show. But instead of just like be nice to others, it's more complicated. Because how all these character arcs like play out is like way more comical than what I'm saying in the show, you know? Like I think another key part that I kind of wish I did put more into this post is that like the show is like funny, you know? Like people the way that people talk about this show implies that it's like a very like sketchy, lewd, dirty kind of show, and like it kind of is, but it's also like primarily like funny and chipper and light and wacky. It's in any way comparable to Nichijou? Yes, it is actually. Not just because it was made by the same studio, but like yeah, it's very Nichijou was kind of like more like, hey, things just happen and life is weird. You know, like if I have to say about the main point of Nichijou. Um, so there's a lot more like scenes where they talk about like these things, but again, it is done in a humorous manner. Like what was it? Oh yeah, the thing with Takedo about how like he was worried that Luca was gonna like harm the family friendly nature of the store. That was kind of like that was all played as a joke because like there's like a scene of Takedo and his friend, and Takedo's like, oh man, you know, grandma hired somebody new, and you know, I bet they're you know, and they got like a large size. They needed a large T-shirt for the uniform, so I bet he's this really gruff old big guy who's gonna ruin the family friendly nature of the store. And he goes and sees like big booby dragon girl, and he's like, oh no, it's even worse. It's even worse than I possibly could have ever imagined. And then we find out, oh hey, you know, Luca actually perfect, completely wrong. Whoops, Mabi. And then we have a fun little lesson at the end. Because I think this is all one episode, or like half an episode. The comedy with themes of learning and growth. Whoa, never heard of that before. Totally not my favorite show type. I was gonna have to say, I think I might need to update my anime 3x3 because after rewatching the first season and watching the second season and writing this whole post, I'm like, man, I really like this show because it does have a lot to like chew on, but you know, you can very much approach it more on like a surface level and like it in that way. Because again, if you remember like 5 years ago when we did the Dragon Maid season 1 podcast, I think that was with I have no idea. I think I think that was with Yish, Chris, and maybe Dom. I don't remember. But like we weren't talking about this at all. We were just talking about how cute Kana is and how funny the show is and how great it is. But you know, it was on the rewatch. And I'm like, hey, this show actually has a lot to like think about and a lot to do things. You know, especially with like Kana. I'm like saying kind of like being evil and manipulative is something that people don't even like pick up on and might not even be there. I might just be crazy. But it's interesting to think about because again, outside of that one thing where it's stated that she actually faked crying to resolve a conflict. Like outside of that, like her future actions of like playing up her cute and fragile side aren't necessarily obvious. Like again, maybe that's not what the show was getting at, and maybe it kind of is just that like cute and fragile and not being intentionally manipulative to Saikawa. But again, Kana's past and issues of abandonment and being genuinely um immature, I think kind of plays into what that was. But again, how that plays out actually in the show is that kind of just cute, kind of cute. The audio in that video was really loud and triggered my tendonitis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, hopefully I've learned. Listen, as I've been making videos on for the internet for like almost 15 years, and I'm really bad at like figuring out how like audio and stuff like that works. So hope to improve. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't know. Just that's definitely I don't know. That's definitely like this thing was made for people who like are into that kind of like argument. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm not gonna like change the whole stance on the show, but people are just wrong. Plan on seeing Inuo. Looking forward. I haven't had the chance yet. Frick. What is that show? Is this gonna become just an anime Zatsudan? I was like, are you talking about Inuyasha or Inukami? Inukami, fun fact, one of the I think the only manga that I've read that has an anime adaptation that I haven't read. Yeah, because Inukami does have a manga and an anime, and I've only read the manga, and I don't think I can say that with any other show. Because the Pokemon Adventures doesn't really have an anime. Rosario Vampire kind of doesn't have an anime. Anyway, oh, by Devilman. I'm looking at it. I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've seen anything of it, which is very odd. But it did. Now that you mention it, does look like Devilman guy. Anyway, I think also I feel like I could just copy and paste like this huge thing about Luca and Shota because anime tends to have this kind of like character archetype a lot, and I think it's kind of made on the fact that like you kind of understand that and get that because again, as I talked earlier, it kind of leaked out to people outside of the anime demographic. So like people might not know about this, but like a big sister type and bullying a little brother type of character is relatively common in anime. Like I was just thinking about it, like Bleach has that. Like mainstream shonen Bleach has that. So I don't. So yeah, but again, like, and people, see that and doesn't help. His name is Shota. I think it kind of it does help. I guess I don't know because like the idea is that yes, this is what they are supposed to just look like a stereotype, an anime stereotype on the surface, but actually there's a lot more like to them about how like Shota has insecurities about being strong and wanting to be like a strong mage. I didn't put that in there, but like yeah, Shota has a huge character arc and like or has like some character parts in season 2 about wanting to be like a strong mage and how this whole thing about Luca is really giving him trouble because um Shota's like I can't even control a familiar. What kind of mage am I? But it's funny because Luca is actually like the strongest dragon in the entire series. She's like an ex goddess or whatever. So like yeah. And then Luca is trying to be like all friendly with Shota and Shota misinterprets that and the entire internet misinterprets that. Um but that's just because Luca has like sort of emotional insecurities about how like she lost her home in the past and she wants to treasure the things that she has at the moment, so that's why she's so protective of things, and that's what kind of makes her come off as a like possessive like older sister character. I haven't read a single word of your tweet. I want you held by Tuesday. Huh? Oh, like held in court? I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that I should say more about Luca and Shota, but I'm like, the thing is that I don't necessarily like. It's hard to disagree with people or argue against people when like they're wrong, because it's not like people are like, oh, Luca is sexually abusing Shota, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I think if you like look at the show, like they're sure maybe kinda, but it mostly comes off as like intimacy and like being like familiar, like like kind of family like intimacy, not like lovers type intimacy, if you know what I mean. But I just think in general that a lot of people mix up sexuality and intimacy a lot. I don't know. Is that just me? Am I the only one that puts too much of a barrier between those things? Because it's definitely intimate, but I don't think it's inherently sexual. But again, the show is going for this like morally gray area of like Luca, despite like whatever her actions actually are, they're clearly bothering Shota on some level. So you can consider her to be the bad guy, which the show even acknowledges in the whoops, where did that H go? Okay. The show even acknowledges this by having Fafnir just write a book about the exact same situation, but the characters are evil, and Luke was like, "What? That's evil and crazy. Nobody should be doing that." And the idea is that she is doing that, but she's doing it out of like love. But yeah, whatever. You get the idea. The dyslexia took him. Oh no, he's used too much power. What did I say? I thought I was going. I thought I was going on. I thought I was going on a good tangent there. Do hate it media when they read something as a sibling relationship when they just kiss it out of nowhere and it makes me real uncomfortable. And then they kiss out of nowhere and it makes me real uncomfortable. I think there are lots of there are a lot of gray zones in between those. I also think if I have to sit here and put my tinfoil hat on, conspiracy theory hat on for a little bit, I think the way that sexuality in the West and Japan are viewed very differently, because I think like the West more views it's like anything intimate as inherently sexual, where like Japan doesn't necessarily, because Japan has things like um what are they called? They're like places where you can just pay women to just kind of hang out with you and know nothing sexual at all. You know, you can just kind of pay to um there was that one news report a while ago where you could pay to lie in bed with another woman. Nothing sexual. It's just lie in the same bed and have pillow talk. So, again, there's not many of those places, obviously, but, you know, I think it kind of shows that there's not this inherent link between sexuality and intimacy in Japan as much as there is in the West. I know this. Oh, God. Wait, wait. I mean, yes, a lot of those places don't advertise the sexual nature of them just to get around the no prostitution law in Japan. But a lot of places are just like, hey, just pay some money and hang out with a girl for like an hour. What are you guys talking about? Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. And people are like, aha, pathetic, loser. But I'm like, I don't know. How different is that from paying a prostitute? Just down lower in the relationship, I guess. I don't know. Again, I might be entirely off base on that. Don't take everything I say with a grain of salt. I will not be held. I will not listen. By watching this video, you agree to not hold everything I say up to everything I say. Prostitution is illegal in most places. That's a conversation for another day, but you get the idea. It's mostly like massage places and like bathhouses that are covers for sex places, which almost happened to me when I went to Japan. It was like I told the story a couple times. It was like midnight, and I was like on the way to the train station, like my first week in Fukushima, and it was like midnight, and these two ladies on the street were like, "Oh, you want a massage? You want a massage? You want a massage? Come in and get a massage. It's real cheap and easy." And I'm like, no, it's like midnight. What are you on about?" And then I found out. I think I either remembered from earlier or I realized later that like, oh yeah, yeah, those people were prostitutes probably, because the idea is that you come in for a massage and then once you're behind closed doors then you can talk about other things. But that's separate from my point of saying that like, yes, there are places in Japan where you just can kind of hang out, like maid cafes. Like maid cafes aren't inherently sexual, right? Like, there's nothing sexual about, like, having gone to an actual maid cafe. There is nothing inherently sexual about maid cafes. It's more about the kawaii-ness of it. That more goes into the gimmick cafe side of Japan as opposed to like well, yeah, whatever. You get the idea. Anyway, pay to have a nice bath with the women just happens to hop in a bath with you, and you know what? Who's who's to say what goes where? The police, they don't gotta know. Listen, you go in the bathhouse, you to have a bath with somebody, and that's all that you sit there in the bath 6 feet apart, just staring at each other, and that's all that happens according to the according to the police. No, this is you're getting off of my topic. Yes, there are um exceptions to every rule, but you get the idea. I just mean like inherently like all those like weird gray areas in between don't exist in America. Also probably because America no prostitution in general, but you get the idea. Kind of like how gambling is legal, so you go to the casino to have fun. Bucks you purchase from the building next door. Yeah, pachinko balls you can exchange for money, and but the pachinko balls you gamble the pachinko balls, but they aren't worth money according to the law. But you can still sell whatever. Don't worry about it. We're not getting. We should have a weird Japanese culture Zatsudan at some point. I'm only here to distract and derail. I have no attachment to the subject matter. I'm an agent of chaos. No worry. You're. It's like Iruru. That's another thing I also did not go into is the whole like there being different factions of the dragons, and the dragons are also fighting like each other. But that's more relevant later in the manga than it is currently relevant in the anime, other than like the um Toru and her friend arc, who I did not talk about in this post, so I completely forget her name. But I really like that arc. I wanted to talk somehow about it, but I don't remember. I think it was both headaches when we multi-stream Dom. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna end at some point. I just want to make sure because at several points through reading this, I started to go off on minor tangents. So I just want to make sure that I came back to all of that. Yeah, I think this is a good opening. Does it encapsulate everything that I'm talking about? Maybe not, but it's a fun opening line, and I think that's more important in writing in general. At least that's my general philosophy. Because I do think it is funny that the whole show is about like don't judge others based off appearances. Actually get to know them, and people online with the show are judging based off appearances without actually getting to know the show. It's very funny. Kobayashi is also a generally great character because again, she's a regular person. She's like the main character. She's a regular person insofar as being like the main character and being kind of like the insert character, kind of. I don't know. I wouldn't really call her an insert character, but she's a good neutral ground for all the insane craziness that happens around her. But she's good at dealing with it because like she's good at grounding the dragons because she's like, okay, this is how things work in the real world, and if you want to live here in the real world, then this is how you should go ahead and do things. But again, Kobayashi's also very like critical about a lot of the world and like like oh yeah it shouldn't be like that, it shouldn't, these things shouldn't exactly be like this, and it's kind of dumb, but that's how it works. She's kind of like made peace with it, but that also kind of like helps give her some character development too, because like because she inherently does not agree with a lot of things about how the world works, but she's kind of like made peace with it insofar as like trying to be a part of the world. And she kind of goes through a character arc of like after learning about how these dragons think and feel, like she starts to like develop as a person. So they didn't even mention the whole thing, the whole gay thing. Because at the beginning of the series, Toru's like, "Hey, I'm gay for you, Kobayashi," and Kobayashi's like, but being gay is not socially acceptable, and that's all I know, you know." So, I think that's a and that and so in that way, Toru kind of like helps Kobayashi come out of her shell in a way, or like come to like kind of more question the things that she's been taught. And by near the end of the series, Kobayashi's like, oh, maybe I might be gay. Again, a character arc that is not finished in the anime, but definitely like by the end of the second season, Kobayashi is definitely more gay than she was near the beginning of the season. And not because she got turned gay, but because she was learning, questioning her upbringing. What did I say here? Questioning her upbringing and rediscovering things about who she is. Because again, while like nothing bad about being gay, but there is a lot of or not but nothing wrong with being gay. It is very not socially, unfortunately, is not socially acceptable yet, especially in Japan. So if you have this character of Kobayashi who has grown up learning what the how the world works and how to survive in it, especially in Japan specifically, but it can also apply for a lot of things. Like maybe she would be raised to not think that she was gay, even if she was gay. Does that make sense? Hates us. I, that's kind of why I didn't talk about it, because there's no real great way to say it. So why don't I just say it instead of writing it in a very clear way? Why don't I blab about it in a very unclear way? That makes sense. Haha. No. I'm saying that because I did not put it in because I'm not 100% sure if that's necessarily what they were going for. Um, but definitely like during the scene that Toru's like, "Hey, I'm romantically interested in you, Kobayashi." Kobayashi responds by saying like, "Oh, but we're both girls," which is an important difference. Which is why the dub everybody hates the dub, because Kobayashi just says, "I'm not gay" or "I'm not into women," which is not necessarily what the phrase "but we're both girls" means. "But we're both girls" doesn't mean I'm not gay. It means being gay is not socially acceptable. Something to that effect. So in a way, Toru is kind of help. Basically the long term goal of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid plot with Kobayashi is getting Toru to bring Kobayashi out of the closet. It's basically what it comes down to. I don't know. Again, it's a very thing I'm not necessarily 100% sure about. Again, I need to see more of the series in order to necessarily say like that's what they were going with that, but it makes sense. It makes sense with going back with Kana about like understanding misconceptions about yourself, like both outwardly about misconceptions about other people, both outwardly about misconceptions about other people and inwardly about misconceptions about yourself. Maybe one of these misconceptions that Kobayashi has about herself is that she thinks she's not gay when she's gay. I don't know. Or maybe they just made Kobayashi not gay at the beginning of the series just to create some drama in the relationship. Oh my god, me. Hashtag me. I me. I want a dragon to show me how gay I am. Imagine if anime was real and we all have gay dragons to show us how gay we really are. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Again, don't yell at me. But yeah, I don't know. It's a interesting. I like. It's a very sweet and Again, I'd talk about this in the big long term, but at the end of the day, like it is a very sweet and cute relationship that Kobayashi and Toru have, and I support that canonship 10,000%. Because again, as they go, like they do become more attached to each other, and it's good. It's a good relationship. I like it. Biffy, what did you say? What the fuck did you say, Biffy? Explain yourself. He deleted that message in chat, but it still showed up on screen. Da-da. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's a. I also think it's not entirely unintentional that they, as far as other things of like trying to push past like conceptions about what people are, in a meta term of like anime has a lot of anime often has like fake Yuri shippings, like two girls are best friends and act flirty with each other, but they never actually end up in a relationship. So I think the show is kind of like playing off of that trope. Kind of earlier what I was saying about the Luca and Shota arc, about how like they appear to be a certain like anime character trope on the surface, but like actually there's more to it. So like Kobayashi and Toru seem to be like a fan service ship near the beginning, but like their relationship actually develops. Ruby fake lesbian. I know I know Kevin would be very happy to know that I caught up on the Ruby anime and I'm liking it so far. Not important. We're talking about Maid Dragon. But yeah, I should talk about anime more often. Not important right now. Tevin, you came in here at the end. I want to try to end the stream too soon because I do want to encourage VOD viewers, and the longer the stream goes, the less encouraged VOD viewers will be. But yeah, I think it's not. I didn't put it in the actual post because I'm not 100% sure. But if I were to add, like, if I did want to add anything to this, I think I would talk about Kobayashi and Toru being gay. They 100% are. Yang and Blake in the original series of Ruby constantly flirting and stuff, but never actually kissing each other or calling each other girlfriend. I was still for time. I think people like long videos now. Yeah, I suppose you're right. And I have timestamps. Where do we go? I just want to make sure I talked about everything. Kobayashi's a great character. Kobayashi's just also a great character in general because she's very unique as far as anime protagonists go, because like most anime protagonists are pretty like reactionary, like they see something and then they react to it, but like Kobayashi is very good at like seeing that problems happen and responding to them accordingly. I don't know. I guess that's the same as reactionary, but she takes more of the initiative as opposed to just like being. She's not a reluctant hero. How about that? Like earlier in the series, when she had like when it's like her and two other dragons living with her, and things start getting cramped. There's a plot about trying to find a better apartment. That's a decision that Kobayashi made, and that's a very like rational, reasonable, very like level-headed kind of decisions that Kobayashi makes. It's like, yes, this is too small for people to be happy with. We need to have an obvious answer, And Kobayashi also does a lot of like conflict resolution elsewhere. Like when I think they were arguing something about the apartment, and Kobayashi like was like, "Hey, let's all make a plan and do something that makes everybody happy." Kobayashi's a cool protagonist. That's all I wanted to say. There's a reason that there are people do definitely waifu Kobayashi. In a series with already many great other waifus, Kobayashi still stands out as being particularly cool. PG Monster Musume. You know what, Biffy? I kind of, now that I think about it, I don't know if I necessarily made that connection, but Monster Musume is kind of similar, kind of in a way. a non PG version definitely, but like I think I talked about this in the my top 100 anime about how like Monster Musume is kind of about racism, I guess, about how like people are afraid of these monster girls because oh, it's a girl with spider legs, that's scary, but it's like the main character kind of like loves and accepts them for who they are. I get it. You know what? I can see it. I can see it. And the first season of Maid Dragon was around the time that Monster Musume popped up, so I think there might have been some back and forth inspirations from them. I'm not sure which one came first. About racism and things. Exactly. Now you understand, Biffy. Congratulations. Here's your diploma. You passed my this is actually a college class. You passed. Here's your diploma, Biffy. uh kind of talk about that. I also think something else about out of all the message you deleted, that was the weakest. I know. The one time Biffy spoke the truth, he had to hide the evidence. What was I saying? Oh yeah, something about I think Maid Dragon, how it's perceived online is that I think season 2 of Maid Dragon might be like one of the best second seasons of any anime ever because like it expanded on the themes. Like season 1 on its own is already like a great show. Like on the rewatch I was like, "Oh man, I like the show a lot more than I did before." But then like season 2 like just adds so much, like so much context and so much like different ways that themes are understood, like the whole thing about Irudu and a lot of things about how relationship progresses kind of has a lot more like closer moments with moments where she's opening up with Saikawa in season 2. Also, most of the development of Luca and Shota also happens in season 2. Like this whole like the entire like second half of this paragraph is entirely stuff that happened in season 2, which I think is another reason why people misunderstand Luca and Shota. But I don't know, it's just really good. Okay, okay, Biffy, you can delete that one. What was it? It's a good season 2. Is all I was saying. That's a thing that happens. Why are you booing? I'm right. Yo, I don't. Why are people going on about Monster Girls? Monster Girl like is definitely like if people started yelling about that about how offensive that show is, I could be like, yeah, you know what, I get it. I'd be like, you know what, yeah, whatever, I get it. It's just Kobayashi in particular, Kobayashi Dragon Maid in particular, is like just really wholesome and people don't understand. But yeah, second season's really good. I'm trying to think of like any other game or medium, like any other like anime or game or other medium where like the sequel like added so much without necessarily taking anything away from the first one. Because I was thinking about how like Lost Planet 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, but Lost Planet 1 kind of sucks. Like I don't know. It's better, and then Maid Dragon is better because season 1 is still great, but season 2 is just makes the entire series like that much better. You know. Prefer me to mention? Okay. The popsicle scene. Man, I want to rewatch Monster Girl. I was thinking of some sort of Halloween anime to rewatch. It was either that or Sankadea. Was it Sankadea? That zombie girlfriend? Sankadea. Yes, I'm right. Hey, guess what? I'm right. It was Sankadea. Sorry, not important. You're a bad man. Listen, I'm at the despite how much I talk about peace, love, understanding, everyone be kind to each other. I can also at the same time be a degenerate otaku. Okay, I can be a wholesome person and a chemo ota at the same time. What were we talking about? I think we were talking about ending the stream. I'm listen, I just think it's a funny show. It's a funny show. I think that's another thing about I was talking about like how sexuality is viewed in the West in general. And I think something else is that like a lot of like things that people categorize as like sexual things in anime are mostly like fun and for jokes, you know? Like the whole anime trope of a guy like tripping on a girl and falling into her boobies. Like that's supposed to be funny, not like arousing. Like that's supposed to be like a funny, fun thing. I mean, again, it can pokoi no los dos. It can be both at the same time, but I think it is primarily meant to be funny. I think that is another thing. Because again, like as I was talking about earlier about how I make this show sound serious, but like in practice, like all the Luca and Shota scenes are supposed to be funny because there's such this huge misunderstanding of what's happening between the two characters that's causing very silly and awkward situations. Can't defend Monterey. That's just a beat off show. I mean, I think before when I said why not both, I think Monster Musume has a blend of both than most other shows, but still it still has both. You know how it goes. But I'm talking like in general about anime. It's most supposed to be funny like 9 times out of 10. Which I remember also going back to my top 100 anime. I called what did I say? I said something really I thought was really funny and clever. Da-da-da. I don't know why people watch High School DxD. I'm not a huge fan of that show. I should rewatch it though because it has like 15 seasons, so there has to be something about it that people like. Oh yeah, I said that Fake Clay Liner had a lot of good fight scenes, but might everybody might not be not everybody might not appreciate its offbeat sense of humor or something to that effect. If he removed that most recent message for people who don't have chat open. The girl fell and headbutted him. Doesn't that usually happen anyway? Like throwing the like the what is that thing called? They throw people. Whatever. I don't know, man. Throw people. Pretty sure that's literally Nichijou. Yeah, you get the idea. Uh, but as that is a take I will stand by. Is that I think more often than not it's supposed to be more funny than sexual. But again, it's always a blend of both and gray areas and blah 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 blah. So maybe I'm more of a gross otaku than a gross nerd than I would like to imagine. I don't know. I think it's funny. Maybe I just have a weird sense of humor, but I find most scenes like that funny. Was I saying? I don't remember. I don't remember, dude. I was thinking about that how it subverted that in Ava, but that wasn't necessarily like it wasn't funny or sexual. It was just awkward, and that was the point of Ava. Anyway, da, 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 da. Stream has been successfully derailed. I know, right? People like long streams. I listen. Read the blog post. You don't gotta watch the video. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Listen, you don't understand. I can sit here and talk about anime forever. I should do more chatting streams. Like if I have like a list of things I want to talk about. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Uh, anything else I wanted? Where were we? I was just going through this thing. If I wanted to say anything more about anything. Kobayashi's a cool protagonist. I really like the friendship of Fafnir and Takia. They're like one of the only like male characters in the show. It's mostly the show I would mostly consider like a cute girls do cute things slice of life show for the most part. But there are like male characters in it, so it wouldn't necessarily inherently not fit into the cute girls do cute things. But if people like long discussions now, it's a thing. I will have to take your word for that. Um, but yeah, I like the relationship between Fafnir and Takia mostly because I'm an otaku and it was all about like, hey, it's cool to be an otaku. Otaku can do cool things and be fun and like what I said here. It's actually because of their differences that they're able to find joy and meet people. Like it's because that they are otaku that they are able to be happy and meet people and do these things. So it's pretty cool. I talked a lot about Takedo and Iriru. I suppose it's only to be sexual if they don't actually use it as its themes. They have something to say about it. I'm cool with it. Yeah, is a good point to talk about. Like people are like, oh, why is Iriru the way that she is? Like, is she like what is the philosophy behind the design of Iriru other than to just be attractive? But like the idea is that like the way that she acts is different from the way that she looks, like as opposed like and in this character arc where Takedo thought like, oh yeah, she looks scandalous, she looks to be behaving scandalously, so it's jeopardizing the culture, the family friendly culture of the candy shop. But actually, Iriru is great. She's good with children. She's wants to have fun and play, and her appearances are not actually as big of a deal as Takedo thinks. So like the idea is that like her appearance contradicts her who she actually is, thus kind of pushing the themes of don't judge a book on its cover. Don't judge a book based off its cover or, preconceived notions and whatnot. Devilman Crybaby. Devilman Crybaby was I still need to finish that show. It was a little too hardcore, if you know what I mean. I think I was also like in a weird mood when I decided to watch it the first time, so that definitely needs a second chance. But anyway, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Something about how like yes, Iruru's design is inherent to her character arc, and so if you change the design, her character arc would just not function as well. But again, por qué no los dos? There are multiple reasons that any character designer makes people the way that they are. I also have a just a disbelief in general that the author, the original mangaka for Maid Dragon, knows how to make boobs that are not flat or really big. They're hardly ever in between in Maid Dragon, so maybe, or like, and as even in his other work, I can't understand what my husband is saying. So maybe they just don't know how to draw in that way. Again, lots of different reasons. It could be story reasons. It could be I don't know how to draw reasons, or I have a particular art style reasons. Either way. Last episode of Devilman Crybaby so beautiful. I've heard a lot of good things. That's mostly why I want to go and finish it. I also think it's short. Yeah, it's 8 episodes. I'm really curious. I hope some like hardcore Maid Dragon fan finds this because I am really curious what people think about like my Kana take. Because Kana being like evil and manipulative towards Saikawa is not really like it's not something I've ever heard anyone else say. Because I hear people like wonder like I wonder because even all the way back in the first season people were wondering I wonder if Kana knows how Saikawa views her and like how serious all of Kana's like playful teasing actually is. And like my answer is like yes, Kana, like I heard people like questioning Kana's actions for a while, but nobody ever had like a clean answer. And this is definitely not a clean answer either. But definitely I think that Kana trying to manipulate Saikawa and play up her cute and innocent side does, I think, is a decent explanation for that. Yes, Kana is playing up her cute and innocent side. I don't know. I'm just stumbling because I don't know what to say that I haven't already said here. Go read it. Go reread it. Kevin, I don't think you've read all of it. Kevin, I don't think you were here for the reading an hour ago. Oh my gosh. Why do all my streams go way too long? I'm having fun though. Anyway, yeah, and I said a lot about Luca and Shota about how like yeah, that the whole point of their character arc is that like they look like something on the surface, but if you look in the underneath, then you'll see that like yeah, their actions are based off of like pure intentions, you know? It's kind of what I talk about in near the end about how Dragon Maid has no ill intentions with the theming or messaging. It's not trying to promote like abuse or whatever that people say about it because it's shown it even in the Luca Shota thing, like it's showing like Luca's actions as like Luca has positive intentions behind her actions, but those intentions are not translating to results, and that's where like the conflict is. And again, it's also made more complicated by the fact that their character arc is still ongoing and also a lot in season 2. So, whatever. I always prefer reader reviews essays that explicitly state the reader's opinion. Don't try to look at it objectively. So if you're speculating, stating how you see it. I like that you are speculating, saying how you see it. I thank you. You know, I appreciate that comment a lot, Biffy. You know what, Biffy, you say good things sometimes. Because yeah, at the end of the day, like I don't know, I might be completely wrong about my reading of the show. You know, I'm just trying to figure out what the show. I don't know. I'm trying to find like a way of like, hey, this is the what the show is objectively, but like stating it in a very like theory crafting kind of way. Like maybe like the end goal is trying to figure out what the show is about, but I know that this is just like what I think. You know, this is my take on the show. Like what I'm hoping is that people look at this take and kind of like incorporate it into their own view of the show and we can all get a better understanding of anime. Cuz anime is cool and fun to talk about. Slander piece, this is depending on the intensity, yeah, boring videos. Yeah, trying to say like I definitely agree with that kind of mentality. Like my whole mentality with trying to look at like my whole mentality about discussing and critiquing anime is trying to figure out what and media in general actually because I also think about this in video games. I'm trying to figure out what is this thing trying to do and how well did it do it, right? So this is more like the first part of it, and the second part is yes, I think it did it very well. Kind of as you can see, I talk about it a lot, and it goes into a lot of depth, and I think it kind of does its character arc very well. So I like it a lot. But again, I could be wrong. You know, I everything that I say I'm willing to be wrong about, which is another reason why I wanted to do more anime streams because I like talking about anime. Don't care about intent shows how it makes me feel, and more how it makes me feel, but that's just me. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just like kind of digging down more of like what is the show like actually about. You know, I think I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But yeah, how it makes people feel is also very interesting, especially in when you're reviewing something and you want to know how people reacted to this. So I think you like, even though I'm very like being analytical here, I think you can kind of tell like how the show made me feel. It gave me some good feels. It gave me good feels. Like, let's not pretend at the end. Let's not forget at the end of the day. Like, I liked the show enough to write all this stuff about it. And I know it wasn't like that long, but it did take me like a good couple weeks of on and off work. I think I was tracking at some point. I think I went like 10, 15 hours in total of writing all of this, maybe closer to 10. So like it's not a lot, but like it was definitely like I like if it was something like lighter, like writing the Kirby fanfic, I definitely wrote more than like 2,000 words in a day. But this I was like trying to be very careful with my wording and trying to like make a point, so it was a lot longer. Prolonged the stream for Dom to come in. Where's that multi-stream link? What? I don't see Dom. We're ending the stream. What are you guys talking about? Oh, how media shapes us. Okay. Meant for her to stream. I meant for him to stream. Oh yeah. Oh, he didn't start a stream yet. I thought he started the stream earlier. You talked about getting a headache because you're listening to both streams at the same time. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Okay. Anyway, I had. If he is starting, then that's convenient because I'm wanting to end it. But yeah, that's my whole. I want to continue talk. But anyway, I can talk about the future. I said was gonna happen. Okay, don't have good reading. I'm sorry, I don't have good reading comprehension while I'm reading. Anyway, saying I don't know. I'll read. I'd read. I try to read chat better. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I misread. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I like talking about anime. I like figuring out what anime is about because that's like. But I also like just discussing. I do want a good blend of like discussing like, okay, is did we what did we feel about the show versus like what is the show about, you know? So I think maybe in like a more like, if I was being more like um covering Maid Dragon in general, I would also like add a whole other segment about like, oh my god, I love the show. Its art style is great. The characters are cute and funny, and the whole show is wholesome, and I like that, and it's very good. I like it. Watch Paranoia Agent. I will. I will. Don't worry. It's on the list of anime to watch before I die. I should actually. I said that ironically, but I should actually do that of like higher priority anime. Because there's a lot of anime I would like to watch, but if I die before I watch them, then you know what? That's not the end of the world. Which is actually most anime in general. Anyway, Paranoid Agent, Paranoia Agent. It's a TV show. I remember I meant to watch that like 5 years ago, and Azure sent it to me. Yeah, Satoshi Kon show. Satoshi Kon mostly made movies. Whoops! Nobody saw that. Did anyone see that? No, nobody actually saw that. Okay. Forgot that I was sharing the window and not actually sharing the screen. Pulled up my folder. Don't worry about it. I hit the folder button on Windows. Whoops. Anyway, I think it's fine. I think I named one after me and married myself. It's very good. What are we guys talking about? I'm no longer following the train of thought, but I know I need to end the stream. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed me. Of the Lamb, new roguelike. I see. Should have assumed. I hope everyone enjoyed this format. I actually did enjoy it a lot. I think I like the format of me like writing something and then reading it on stream and then talking about it. Think I don't know if I would necessarily want to do this specifically, but definitely like this idea. because I want to continue writing, but I want to get back into fiction writing because when I think the only thing I've publicly posted, I don't know, finished slash publicly posted was the Kirby fanfic, and I really enjoyed writing that. But I know it's really bad, and I know I can do a lot better. So I definitely want to get back to fiction writing. So I think this might be a decent method to release my fiction writing. Because definitely, like, oh my gosh, making the audiobook of the that Kirby fanfic was like, I think the most pain I've been in trying to make content on the internet. Because again, like writing the Kirby fanfic, I love that. It was great. I love it a lot. I want to do it more. But like actually like editing down the audiobook to like post on YouTube, I was like, why am I doing this? I didn't like doing it. Nobody watched it. Especially now that I have like this option where I can just read, you know? But I do think I still want to talk about anime more. So maybe in the future I'll do like a hybrid where like instead of like writing out this huge like well edited like deep dive like post, maybe I'll just like write some notes about things that I want to talk about, you know, and to cringe myself like lore dumping. Are you talking about fanfics or just talking about games again? Talking about roguelikes again. We love lore dumping here, Mar. Either way, we love lore dumping here, Mar. Don't let anyone change your mind about it. Yeah, we love lore dumping here, Mar. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I just yeah, I want to do more fan fiction writing. I think this is a good way to release it. Although I think it might be for that case, I definitely want to have like a video that people can kind of click on so they can just read slash listen to me read my fiction, especially if it's going to be longer. Because this took about, I think it was like 23 minutes when I was finished, and I spent like 7 minutes, like faffing about before actually starting. So I think it was like seven. I can't do math, but it was like 15 minutes that it took to read. I think so. If you like, I think times 10 this. I think that's how long the Kirby fanfic was about 20,000 words. That would be like an hour. So maybe I might want to separate the reading it and discussing it into two separate streams because there's no reason not to. Because like on Twitch, like maybe you might not want to like stop and start the stream, but like I could just make it into two different streams, you know? Like I did with that night I finished Metroid and played the Kirby demo. I just made that two separate streams and two separate VODs, and then they got a lot more views because of it. So I think I should do that. And also for that I want to do more fanfic writing, and also want to talk about anime more in general, but more casually discussing it like we have been for the last hour, less spending a couple of weeks writing something like this. Although I am really glad I did write this. So I don't know. There will definitely be times where I might want to write something like this again. But because I am really glad I got this off my chest, because this is something I've been kind of like thinking about, and it's been rumbling around in my head like ever since that one thing happened with Dom. But like um, if so, it feels good to like just be like, here, this is all of my thought dumps on it. Even after like talking about it with Dom like all those months ago, it still feels nice to just be like, here is all my thoughts on the whole thing about Maid Dragon. Here you go. So I don't know. It's definitely something I would like to do again, but I want to more focus on fiction writing and more casual anime discussion. So look forward to that in the future. I also kind of want to tie that more into the project that I've been working on for like a year and a half. But don't worry about it. I don't know what more there is to say about that other than yeah, I'm still continuing to do streams like this, like it's like one of those things where like if I could just do it and then kind of fix it as it happens, like, but like, you know, if I have another stream, like I might as well wait until it's like super duper high quality perfect until I actually release it. I don't know. Guys, don't worry about it. Thank you everybody for being patient with the secret project. It's definitely not. There's a reason why nobody likes to do big projects, is because they take a while and there's a lot of hiccups and a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of things can go unexpected and be a big pain in the butt, and that's why nobody does it. But you know, I'm doing it anyway. I'm also learning a lot. I've also have a full after it's finished. I am documenting I am documenting a lot of my process on that project. So even if it's secret now, I am documenting everything. So there will be a huge behind the scenes at some point. Don't worry. So yeah, I'm also learning some. I'm also learning more things. Like maybe it shouldn't have been a secret in the first place. I don't know. At this point, I'm like, well, I've already committed to it to being a secret, but maybe it shouldn't have been a secret. So I don't know. Because I don't like super secret projects. I definitely when I made the original when I made the original decision to make it secret, I thought it was going to take a lot less time than it actually did, but here we go. Project excites me too. Sometimes I'm like, man, is this really worth all the effort? And then I'm like, and I see some progress and I'm like, ooh, 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 ooh. But again, I don't want to hype up expectations because despite how good it is, it's not worth all the time that it's been taking. Well, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm just saying. I think it's kind of worth it, but I don't want people to like set up their expectations too high. Like, I think it's worth it, but like, it's not all this time has not gone into making it better. It's most of the time has gone into, oh, I know what to do in the future now. Anyway, I'll talk about it more. I'll talk about it more in the future. What do you want in the DMs? I'll talk about it more in the future. But don't worry about it. I appreciate everyone for being patient. Hey, the Sonic movie finally came out in Japan. It was no, it's like the ninth. Oh no, it's next week. It's the 19th. The next Friday it comes out in Japan. Still have no idea why. Why is the Sonic movie taking so long to come? The second Sonic movie is taking so long to come out in Japan. It comes out next Friday. I mean, it got a whole new Japanese dub with a Kodone has like a cameo in it. So I guess, but my only guess is that they wanted to wait to release it over Japanese summer break because Japanese summer break is more centered around August. That seems a bit weird. Anyway, and also they didn't release it around like any sort of Western summer break. I think they released it in like March, maybe spring. It was maybe around spring break. I have no idea. Anyway, no, I didn't send anything. Just talking about things. Yeah, don't worry. But yeah, just know that thank you everyone for waiting and follow me on Twitter if you want to see updates. And thank you everyone for waiting. And I've learned mistakes in the future and blah 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 blah. I don't know what to talk about. I like making content on the internet, even if I don't make any money from it. That's fine. You know, there's positive and negatives. There's some interesting discussion in the VTuber community about certain small VTubers blowing up and not making good content anymore. There are positives and negatives to having a big and small audience. A positive to having a big audience is obviously money, but also there's a negative of like there's a different vibe of like having a small chat versus a big chat, you know what I mean? Anyway, I don't care. I just want to make things that are cool and awesome on the internet, and I hope you thought that this was cool and awesome on the internet. At the very least, I enjoyed making it. So yeah, in the future, in the short term, wait, long term, I want to make more fiction writing and do more cool things, and talk more about anime. In the short term, there will probably be a stream tomorrow, either tomorrow and or Monday. Um, and there's a lot of stuff that I want to do. I want to finish. I want to do Splatoon. I've noticed that I thought that Splatoon 3 came out early September. It comes out actually like mid September. So I think it might not be impossible to do Splatoon 1, 2, and Octo expansion all before 3 come out. So I want to do that, and also more Monster Hunter and Multiverses and Mario Kart. September 9th? Are you sure? So hungry for Splatoon. Me digging out my Wii U and playing Splatoon 1 count. Oh yeah, yeah, right. It is the 9th. That's still like 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm starting my teaching internship in September in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. But just because I'll have less time to stream doesn't mean I won't have any time to stream. Anyway, yay, we kept this under 2 hours. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed Maid Dragon. I will go back on the VOD and mark all the time, so people can click around and if they want to read it. And also, I will just post this to my blog, flooricecream.wordpress.com. Why don't I have that linked in the description? I mean, I will after this, but flooricecream.wordpress.com. Wow. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Whoops. Anyway, so yeah, I'll post that there later. Anyway, actually leaving. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? Okay, anyway, we're leaving. We're leaving. Goodbye. 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 I hope you all enjoyed. I like making content on the internet. I think I'm very happy with how this turned out. I think I was kind of worried. I'm like, oh, I want to do a lot of writing, but I don't know how to do it. So I was kind of having some doubts about like how can I release my writing. But definitely this stream made me feel a lot better about like, yeah, you know what? I can just casually like read this through on the stream, right? I think I don't know. At least personally, I don't know about how you guys felt, but nobody complained, so I don't think you felt that badly. So, and I think that it worked out really well to read out my writing because I do like writing. So anyway, so yeah, I'm really happy with how this worked out. I like the stream. I love all of you. I love doing things on the internet and streaming. Yeah, boy, dab. I know it sometimes doesn't seem like it sometimes when I have like long breaks, but I like media reviews, so I'm chill with this kind of content. I was talking about. I'm glad you think that, but I'm more curious. Like, let me know if you have any criticisms or responses to how I am reading, because I want to do more reading on stream. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm feeling optimistic about it. But let me know what you guys think, because I care. Has there been a line of image below the screen this entire time that I could have fixed by doing that? Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I like doing new and experimental things, but I wanted to make sure that everyone being happy. I want to make content that I like making, but I also want to make content that people like watching. So yeah. Any sort of criticisms, let me know. But I think reading this turned out really well, and it seems people like it, so whatever. Anyway, I'm actually leaving. Okay, bye. Everybody's dabbing. Everybody's leaving. Dab, 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 dab. Bye, 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 bye. I'll see you all later. Love you all. Okay, bye. Criticism, you're stinky. Unironically true, though. I haven't taken a shower in like 23 hours. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I have to take a shower. I have to take a shower. I have to take a shower. I gotta go. I have to take a shower. Okay, bye. See you tomorrow. Okay, bye. I have no BRB screen, so this is very awkward. I have no like leaving screen because Streamlabs deletes all of your scenes anytime you switch accounts. Whatever. I'm leaving. Goodbye. See you all later. Stream. Next stream, Sunday or Monday, probably. Follow me on Twitter for more content. Goodbye.